Here we have SampleTank 2.1. That's my usual SampleTank. I just love SampleTank. It's the same overall sample workstation. I got Miroslav on the brain. But you have more, and it's actually a free update, the engine part, to all SampleTank 2 XL users and L users. But what's so great about it for new users and people that already own SampleTank is that you have double the amount of outputs. You have enhanced sample engines. You have enhanced resampling, better quality, pitch shift and time stretch with additional features such as grain control. So you have like a real cool effect there, and things that you can use to either dial in realism, or you can also get radical effects with it, which if we have time I'll show you. And then a new stretch engine that has a note and phrase mode. And what that does is, the previous stretch version only was just stretch. What stretch can do is it can actually, well, it's a technology that preserves the formant, the harmonics of a sound, and you can independently control your pitch shift and time stretch and preserve the formant at the same time. I will show you my classic example, but with the new stretch here, but there's also a lot of new loops. And in fact, the SampleTank 2.1 ships with a new library on 2 DVDs. And Sonic Reality also, which is my company, worked with IK this time around on the library. A lot of new stuff and a lot of revamping of the previous material. So it's a nice extra there. Okay, so let's talk about the two modes real quick. So note mode is for instruments that you play, and phrase mode is for a phrase. One of the things that you can do with stretch is you can take a phrase, you can import in SampleTank out of all the modules, like I just showed Philharmonic. Philharmonic is closed module, it reads Philharmonic sounds, orchestral sounds. SampleTank actually currently cannot read Philharmonic sounds because it's based on a more advanced engine, but eventually it will be able to in a future update. But it can read every other SampleTank format sound, Sonic Synth 2 sounds, it can read expansion tank, sonic capsules, and it can also import a Kai and your own AIFF and wave samples. So this is where you can use stretch and you use SampleTank as like a Swiss Army knife processing tool and have fun. This is a cool trick. If I take, okay, this is a friend of mine who sang this, and let's say, just to give you an idea of, you know, if you take a phrase at the original pitch, and any other sampler, if you played it at a different pitch, the chipmunk effect or the Darth Vader effect. Okay, well, what stretch and phrase mode does is it synchronizes the tempo and preserves the pitch so that you can actually play it in different, or you can play chords with it. Perfect sync. And I can also change the tempo of that. Speed it up. Right, and there's some other cool things you can do. Here's a little trick. You can put it in mono legato mode and change the melody line on the fly. Okay, so and then change the tempo. So you can really work with sounds like putty. It's really cool. And it's a great tool to have. You can also get some cool effects. I mean, you can change the harmonics. All right, you could grain down to. I mean, you can really use. It's a deep sound design tool, SampleTank, as well as a very easy to use workstation. You just click on sounds and play, just like you would with a hardware keyboard workstation. Okay, and then note mode. The best way to describe that is just to play it. You have the same thing. You have you take a sound like this. Okay, something like a solo female vocal that would be very sensitive to bending, and any other sampler would sound very cheesy, right? You couldn't do anything with that. Well, with stretch in note mode, you can now bend notes like this. So it's very realistic. So you have enhanced engines inside SampleTank 2.1. You also have standalone capability. There is LFO sync to BPM, to your host tempo. There are a lot of other features that are online at SampleTank.com, and I think SampleTank 2.1 is definitely, well, it's very popular. SampleTank 2 is a very popular plugin, and this is a fantastic update, especially since it's free. The software part of it is anyway.